Most people think Sigma males are just quiet thinkers who keep to themselves, drifting through life without much interaction. But the truth runs much deeper than that. These men operate by a set of unspoken, deeply ingrained rules that shape the way they approach people, decisions, and even betrayal. These rules aren't written in any book or passed down like traditions. They're forged in fire, in the sting of betrayal, the pain of being underestimated, and the weight of disappointment that comes from placing trust in the wrong hands. Each scar has hardened into wisdom, each letdown refined into discipline, until these rules became second nature. That's why Sigma males don't hand out second chances easily. To them, patterns matter more than apologies. If someone shows their true colors once, Sigma males take note. They would rather walk away in complete silence than waste time arguing with someone who has already revealed they don't value respect. This isn't about bitterness, it's about preservation. People often call them cold, detached, or even heartless. But that judgment misses the truth. Sigma males have simply learned, through relentless experience, that not everyone deserves full access to their inner world. Their silence is not cruelty, it's a boundary drawn in strength. And these rules are not built on mystery for mystery's sake. Sigma males don't deliberately hide just to seem enigmatic. Their rules exist to maintain control when others spiral, to spot the hidden games that slip past most eyes, and to resist the shallow expectations that keep so many people trapped in cycles of competition and validation. To live as a Sigma is to move outside the noise, where power comes not from being seen, but from knowing when not to play the game at all. These hidden rules explain why some people admire Sigma males as calm, unshakable forces, while others misunderstand them as aloof or arrogant. And for a select few, those who try to manipulate, control, or test them, these rules are what make Sigma males quietly intimidating. They cannot be bent by flattery, pressured by conflict, or distracted by surface-level validation. Their code runs deeper than most can see. Rule number 1, respect or distance, no middle ground. For most people, disrespect can be forgiven if it's brushed off with an apology or excuse. But for Sigma males, disrespect is the moment the foundation cracks, and once it cracks, it rarely ever feels solid again. It doesn't always take a dramatic betrayal to trigger this shift. Sometimes, it's something subtle, a sarcastic remark disguised as a joke, a boundary crossed without permission, or a hidden lie uncovered when least expected. Even the smallest dishonesty can flip a mental switch, and once it does, you'll never be seen through the same lens again. A Sigma won't confront you right away or create a dramatic scene. Instead, you'll quietly be moved onto his internal watch list. Every interaction from that point forward is carefully observed. Every word you speak, every slip in consistency, every subtle contradiction gets stored away like data points in his mind. He doesn't need to argue or expose you, he lets your own behavior do that for you. To him, patterns reveal more than words ever could. And this is where most people misunderstand him. They think he's being cold, unforgiving, or overly harsh, but in reality, it's not about revenge or bitterness. It's about energy. A Sigma has learned the hard way that giving repeated chances to people who don't respect him only drains his time, focus, and peace of mind. Respect is not negotiable to him. You either show up consistently with honesty and integrity, or you'll encounter an invisible wall of distance, a barrier that once raised is nearly impossible to break through. For a Sigma, there is no halfway respect. There is no gray area. It's black and white. Respect earns closeness. Disrespect earns distance. And once you've crossed that invisible line, you may never even realize how far away you've already been pushed. Rule number 2, trust few, test everyone. Trust is sacred to a Sigma male, and that's exactly why he doesn't hand it out freely. For him, trust isn't something you can demand, charm your way into, or fake convincingly. It's rare, it's precious, and it's earned slowly, piece by piece. What most people don't realize is that with a Sigma, every single interaction doubles as a silent test. And the kicker? You won't even know you're being tested until it's too late. He doesn't walk into new relationships with blind optimism, assuming the best in everyone. Instead, he begins with cautious observation. He watches how you treat people who can't give you anything in return. He notices whether your words align with your actions. He observes how you handle the smallest promises, the ones most people consider insignificant. To a Sigma, these tiny moments reveal far more about your true character than big, flashy gestures ever could. This isn't paranoia. It's not distrust for the sake of distrust. It's pattern recognition, a survival mechanism forged from experience. Once someone has revealed themselves to be manipulative, inconsistent, or unreliable, that data is stored. The Sigma doesn't need to punish you or cut you off immediately, but he will never let you close enough again to inflict real damage. And here's where the brutality lies: betrayal to a Sigma is almost always permanent. Once you've broken his trust, there's rarely a reset button. You can apologize, explain, or make promises of change, but none of it erases the memory of what you did. Every action you take afterward will be judged against the shadow of your failure. To him, trust is a slow climb, but betrayal is a free fall. And once you've fallen, you don't get to climb back up the same way again. This is why so many people find Sigmas difficult to win over. It's not because they're cold or unfeeling. It's because they've mastered the art of protecting their inner world. To them, trust is not about giving others the benefit of the doubt. It's about carefully, methodically, and silently ensuring that only the rare few who prove themselves through consistency, integrity, and loyalty are allowed in. Everyone else? Kept at a distance where they can't cause harm. Rule number 3, never show all strengths at once. One of the most misunderstood qualities of Sigma males is their tendency to hold back, to keep parts of themselves hidden, even when they could easily impress. To outsiders, this looks like modesty or even lack of ability, but the reality is far more deliberate. Sigma males live by the principle that exposure is vulnerability. Most people rush to put everything on the table. They showcase their skills, brag about achievements, or make sure others know what they're capable of. It feels good in the moment, but it also makes them predictable. Once your strengths are fully revealed, people know exactly where you shine, and exactly where to attack. A Sigma refuses to hand anyone that kind of power. Instead, he keeps his abilities layered, like weapons locked in an arsenal, only pulling out what's necessary for the moment. This strategy creates a powerful effect: underestimation. People assume he's quieter because he has less to offer. They assume his silence is emptiness, when in fact, it's calculation. He lets others grow comfortable, convinced they've mapped out his limits, until the moment the stakes rise. That's when he reveals a skill, insight, or strength no one expected, shifting the entire dynamic in an instant. This isn't manipulation, it's protection. Oversharing your strengths often leads to them being exploited, stolen, or weaponized against you by opportunists. Sigma males avoid this trap by refusing to show all their cards. What you see is always incomplete. And that's the point. When a Sigma finally reveals his full capability, it's rarely gradual. It's decisive. It happens at the exact moment others assume he's run out of options. To the outside world, it looks like a surprise strike, but to him, it's been calculated all along. That's why when a Sigma makes his move, it doesn't feel like luck. It feels like checkmate. Rule number 4, never compete where others play small. Most people spend their lives exhausting themselves in meaningless battles. They compete for attention, for validation, for shallow status markers that ultimately add no real value. Who's the loudest voice in the room? Who gets the most likes online? Who's winning the office gossip war this week? For many, that's where the fight happens. For Sigma males, it's nothing but background noise. A Sigma doesn't enter every competition. He evaluates first: is this game worth my energy? Does the prize matter in the long run? If the answer is no, he steps back without hesitation. While others scramble for crumbs, he's quietly moving toward the feast. To him, chasing temporary validation is the fastest way to lose sight of bigger goals. This selective disengagement often gets misinterpreted. People call him detached, arrogant, or uninterested. But the truth is, he isn't avoiding competition, he's avoiding small competition. He knows that pouring energy into trivial contests costs more than just time. It drains focus, weakens momentum, and distracts from the real battles that actually shape the future. Instead of trying to outshine others in short-term games, a Sigma plays his own. He builds leverage, sharpens skills, and sets himself up for long-term victories that others can't even see coming. When the crowd is busy proving themselves in circles, he's already left the track and built something entirely new, something bigger, stronger, and untouchable. To most, this makes him an enigma. To those who get it, it makes him unstoppable. Because the Sigma rule is simple: if the prize isn't worth it, the game isn't worth playing. And by refusing to compete small, he positions himself to win big. Rule number 5, delay reaction to gain control. Most people operate on impulse. Someone insults them, they snap back. Someone pressures them, they cave or explode. Someone provokes them, and they play right into the trap. Sigma males learned long ago that this reflexive style of reacting only benefits the manipulator, never the target. Their rule is simple: pause before you respond. This pause is not weakness, it's the ultimate form of control. By holding back their reaction, Sigmas buy themselves time to study the person in front of them, to map out their motives, and to see the bigger picture that most people miss in the heat of the moment. While others are tangled in emotions, Sigmas are analyzing micro-expressions, shifts in tone, and the hidden agenda beneath the words. That's why people often misread a Sigma's silence as indifference or intimidation. In reality, he's processing. Every insult, every threat, every manipulation attempt is like data being fed into his mental system. By the time he responds, it's no longer a raw emotional outburst, it's a calculated strike. This unnerves people. Someone expecting a loud argument is disarmed when all they get is calm detachment. Someone trying to provoke guilt or shame finds themselves staring at a man who refuses to carry emotional baggage that isn't his. And when he finally does speak, the impact is surgical, sharp, precise, and impossible to dismiss. Here's the deeper truth: the last one to react is often the one in charge. By delaying his reaction, the Sigma reclaims control of the interaction, resets the power balance, and ensures he never dances to someone else's tune. Rule number 6: let curiosity work against them. One of the most underestimated tools in the Sigma male's arsenal is silence, not passive silence, but strategic silence. Most people are deeply uncomfortable with not knowing. They crave explanations, details, and reassurance. When faced with gaps in information, human nature compels them to fill it, often with over-explanations, contradictions, or secrets they never intended to reveal. This is where the Sigma thrives. Instead of oversharing or scrambling to be understood, he withholds. He answers only what's necessary, leaving plenty unsaid. And in that empty space, curiosity eats away at others. They start talking more, trying harder, revealing deeper layers just to break the silence. In negotiations, this makes Sigmas formidable. While others rush to prove their value or state their terms, a Sigma waits, quietly listening, watching the other person fold under their own need to talk. In arguments, the same principle applies. A calm, unshaken silence weighs heavier than the loudest rant. It makes people second-guess themselves, shift uncomfortably, and sometimes even confess just to break the tension. But make no mistake, this isn't about theatrics. Sigmas don't stay quiet to look mysterious or to play games. They stay quiet because information is leverage. Every word they don't say becomes an opportunity for the other person to reveal something valuable. Here's the twist most people never see coming: by speaking less, the Sigma actually learns more. And the more others reveal, the less the Sigma needs to show. That's why his silence feels powerful, because it's not empty. It's a mirror, reflecting back the insecurities and hidden truths of everyone else in the room. Rule number 7: burn bridges that block growth. Most people stay stuck because they can't let go. They cling to relationships, jobs, or environments that drain them, all in the name of loyalty, nostalgia, or comfort. Sigma males operate differently. To them, every connection is either fuel or a chain. If someone consistently holds them back, the decision is already made: the bridge will burn. This isn't about pettiness or revenge. It's about clarity. Sigma males track patterns with precision. A friend who constantly downplays their achievements, a partner who mocks their ambitions, or a workplace that values conformity over creativity, all of these add up to one core question: does this connection move me closer to growth, or is it slowly suffocating me? If the answer leans toward suffocation, the cut is swift and permanent. No half rebuilds, no lingering what-ifs. Because in the Sigma worldview, staying tied to dead weight isn't loyalty, it's self-sabotage. They know that keeping toxic ties alive robs them of time, energy, and focus, resources they treat as sacred. Outsiders often misinterpret this as coldness or ruthlessness. But to a Sigma, it's survival. They don't see walking away as burning a bridge, they see it as clearing a path. Growth demands space. And if that means walking alone through silence instead of clinging to voices that keep them small, the Sigma chooses solitude without hesitation. They understand something most people ignore: not every bond is meant to last, and not every bridge deserves to stay standing. Sometimes burning a bridge is the only way to light the road ahead. Rule number 8: never argue where evidence is enough. In a world obsessed with winning debates, Sigma males understand a deeper truth: reality doesn't need defenders, it only needs observers. They don't waste their time in endless verbal battles because they know that facts, once revealed, don't require shouting to hold their weight. When others raise their voices, stack their words, or circle endlessly in arguments, Sigmas step back. They know that truth is quiet, but undeniable. If the evidence is visible, if the facts are already laid out for anyone willing to see, then arguing becomes nothing more than ego wrestling with itself. And ego is a game Sigma males refuse to play. This drives some people crazy. They want conflict, they want validation, they want to win. But when a Sigma male simply points to reality, or worse, chooses silence because the facts already stand unshaken, it exposes the futility of the argument. A single piece of undeniable proof lands harder than 100 noisy rebuttals. It's not that Sigmas can't argue. In fact, they're often excellent debaters when the situation requires it. But they see endless arguing as energy theft. Why waste your voice proving that the sky is blue, when the sky itself is proof? Their rule is simple: if reality already confirms the truth, stop talking and let the facts do the work. This approach creates a power shift. The one still arguing looks insecure, desperate, or blind to reality. Meanwhile, the Sigma preserves his energy and reinforces his presence as someone rooted in clarity rather than chaos. In the end, Sigma males know that the loudest voice rarely wins, but the quietest truth always does. Final thoughts. The hidden rules Sigma males live by aren't about ego, arrogance, or trying to stand apart just for the sake of it. They're survival codes, carefully built through experience, betrayal, and the sharp observations that come from standing outside the usual crowd. Every rule has one thing in common: preservation of energy, clarity of thought, and control of direction. Whether it's cutting off disrespect, protecting their trust, holding back strengths, or burning bridges that block growth, Sigmas don't follow these rules to look mysterious. They follow them because the cost of ignoring them is too high. And that's why Sigma males are often misunderstood. Some call them cold, others see them as intimidating, and a few quietly fear them, but those who pay attention recognize the truth. These rules aren't walls. They're filters. They separate noise from signal, shallow from genuine, distraction from purpose. At the core, Sigma males aren't avoiding life. They're navigating it on their own terms, proving that real strength doesn't come from controlling others, but from controlling yourself.